Welcome to the Business Strategist, the show for CEOs and founders ready to scale fast, lead smarter, and build a business that doesn't rely on them. I'm Adam Strong, award-winning strategist, former elite athlete, international speaker, and 3 times best-selling author. After 3 decades in business, I know exactly what it takes to grow, scale, and exit with impact. Each week, I dive into real conversations with industry experts, bold entrepreneurs, and clients navigating the uphill struggles of business, giving you the tools and the strategies to create more profit, more freedom, and more impact. Let's get into it. Every founder starts with a vision, some freedom, some growth, dreams, aspirations of wanting to have more influence and impact. But for many, this looks very, very different. So instead of building a future, you're stuck firefighting, answering every question, every email, juggling tasks that basically drain your time and energy. Now, I don't know if this sounds familiar to you guys, but this isn't leadership. This is survival mode. And if you're caught up in this cycle, it's holding you back. It's holding your business back. And in today's episode, I'm going to show you how to break free from what we call reactive leadership. Take back control and step into more of a visionary role that your business needs. And I speak from experience, by the way, because I've lived there, done that, got the t-shirt type of thing. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down why reactive leadership happens, how it affects you mentally and emotionally, and the steps that you need to take to break free. So by the end of this episode, you'll have a complete roadmap to be able to shift your perspective from the reactive routines to more proactive visionary leadership. So welcome to today's episode of The Business Strategist. I've kind of decided that I'm going to really shift into things that's really affecting a lot of founders and business owners mentally and emotionally, as we're all human, right? It's affected me in the past, and I wanted to share not just what's worked for my clients, but what's happened in terms of my personal story as well that can help hopefully give you some perspective, open some a Pandora's box or some epiphanies. Hopefully it's going to do that. So let's shift in today's episode. So let's talk a little bit about recognizing what I call the cycle of firefighting or reactive leadership. So let's define what reactive leadership really means. So let me give you an example. So reactive leadership means to me is basically spending the majority of your days responding to urgent issues, proactively basically driving your business forward. You are the business. Business depends on you. You respond to every email, every client complaint, every mistake that your team makes. You basically are in full control. Founders fall into some common patterns, also habits. Number one is checking emails first thing in the morning. So I don't know if you ever get up, the first thing you do is turn your phone on, you check your emails. That is basically setting up what I call a reactive tone for your day, right? So that's the first thing. I used to do that, by the way. I don't do that anymore. Number 2, be the go-to person for every decision, big or small. And where that kind of lies is, well, again, we're going to go into talking about trust and empowerment. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Number 3, you feel the need to constantly solve reoccurring problems instead of actually addressing the root cause. And number 4, filling every minute of your day with what I call operational tasks, leaving yourself no time for any strategy work whatsoever. If you're one of the listeners that is listening in right now and you spend too much time working in the business rather than on it, then you definitely need to be listening to this particular episode. What are the consequences of basically staying in what I call reactive leadership? Well, first thing that I have found personally is that it actually leads to a journey of burnout. Now, when you work long hours and you've got no time to recharge and you don't look, and self-care goes out the window, your relationships suffer consequently, everything basically takes a back burner. Interestingly enough, probably about a bit longer than that, actually, about 8 years ago, especially when I started having kids. I've got older kids now and younger kids. When I had my older kids, one of the things that I was extremely reactive is I would do all of the things that you shouldn't do. Effectively, check the emails and set yourself up to more of a reactive day. What this done, it had a massive knock-on effect to my relationship with my partner at the time, had a knock-on effect to how I bonded with my children, and it also put a massive amount of underlying pressure on myself. But all that pressure was made up in my mind. So I know this, and I've been through this, and trust me, it didn't lead to a great result. But anyway, that is kind of my personal thing. The other thing as well, the other consequences of staying reactive is, number one, is lost opportunities. Maybe some inquiries, there may be some leads that come through. And it's a bit like kind of a funnel, if you like. And if you've got opportunities that come through, whether it be partnerships or whatever it is, what you're going to start seeing is you're going to start seeing a lot of those opportunities escaping that funnel, and it's just going to escape your attention. And that could cost, it could cost not just time and money, but, it just takes one deal, one opportunity. But if you're not there, then you're never going to know otherwise. And the last one, which I feel is extremely important, especially if you're listening to this, is team dependency. So if you have a team that learns to rely on you instead of taking ownership, that is another consequence of being in what I call reactive leadership. Because if you're putting yourself out there, again, you're putting yourself under huge amounts of pressure, all that's going to happen is that you're going to start to break down. You're only human at the end of the day. If you are that person, you need to start thinking about letting go. And we're going to explore some of the strategies about how to do that. Second part, let's talk a little bit about why founders and business owners fall into the trap in particular. What I have identified, especially in terms of my traps, is number one is I had the fear of letting go. And I don't know if you've ever had these conversations with other people, but I've certainly had conversations with prospects, with clients, people in my network, and they all think, or you believe, that actually you need to duplicate yourself, right? The mindset is that you're stuck in the weeds effectively. No one can do it as best as you. You need another you effectively to be successful, which is not true. But you just have this general fear of letting go. So that's the first one. The second reason for being reactive is lack of systems. Now, there is a perceptual reality that systems cost money, but actually systems save you money. They save you in time. They free you up. And yes, there is AI. Yes, there is automation. But without clear processes or tools, let the processes and tools do the heavy lifting. Let me give an example. So one of the things, and this is a really classic example. If you are the type of person that plays email ping pong with someone to try to secure a meeting with them, why don't you set up a system where you have an automated calendar where people can just book your calendar? They can see your availability. They can see their availability. And then you can schedule it accordingly. That would save up a lot of free time and a lot of heavy lifting. Let the systems do the heavy lifting for you. And number three, as I mentioned to you, overwhelm. Okay. So filling your day with what I call, what might feel like you're being productive, but actually you're filling up your day with operational shit that prevents you from stepping back to focus on what really matters, which is effectively vision, impact, influence, how we're going to take things forward. Now, what this does as a founder, especially personally, and I can say about this personally, is number one, it causes a lot of stress because you're constantly trying to solve problems all the time. When you're solving problems, it takes up a lot of brain power, takes up a lot of energy. But also when you are constantly solving problems, number one is that you're not using the other side of your brain, which is the right side of your brain, which is the creative side, which is all about creating new ideas, new innovation, how we can grow. You're basically just staying still. Are you planning to sell your business in the next 3 to 5 years? Then you already know it's not just about finding a buyer. It's about actually protecting what you've actually built. That's where our sponsor, Adam Benedict, comes in. They're one of the leading premier M&A legal firms trusted by founders to simplify complex exits, protect value, and deliver results. And if you want a smart, smoother, and strategic exit, visit adambenedict.co.uk.
America leads the world in medicine development. It matters. We get new medicines first, nearly 3 years faster. 5 million Americans go to work because we make medicines here at home. And not relying on other countries keeps us safe. But China is racing to overtake us. Will we let them, or will we choose to stay ahead? When America leads, America cures. Let's tell Washington to keep us in the lead.
Learn how at americacures.com. Paid for by pharma.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to make you aware of a brand new tool that we've just created called the Exit Readiness Assessment. Now, it is for founders and CEOs that are looking to exit from their business operations. Now, it doesn't matter even if you're not looking to exit right now, I would highly recommend to go and take the assessment straight away. It helps you to identify areas in your business that you need to work on to help you towards that exit strategy. And at the end of it, you get a personalized report on some of the areas that you're doing particularly well in and some of the areas that you need to make some improvements to. Make sure you head over to readytoexit.scoreapp.com. That's readytoexit.scoreapp.com. Enjoy. What this also causes, and this is something that happened to me in one of my first businesses when I was in the high performance world, is that you start to create a resentment towards your business because you get tired, right? There's only so much that you can actually take. But also there's this kind of guilt for neglecting your personal aspirations, right? You begin to start questioning and hating, and mentally and psychologically affects you. I worked with a lot of people in the professional services industry. And one of the things that, and I mentioned this earlier actually, is I work with a client in Dubai, and he's in the tax advisory industry. And he believed that he worked harder than anyone else on his team. And doesn't matter who was on his team, he believed that they don't deliver as much as what he could deliver. What he really didn't realize is that, number one, he didn't give him the right training. Number one, he didn't give him the right tools. Or number three, he didn't empower and give them trust to succeed without them. If those are the conversations that you're having in your subconscious mind or out there, go back and look at that, because again, it takes a massive impact on you emotionally. Number three, in terms of shifting from what I call reactive to proactive leadership. And so, first of all, you've got to look at what are the fires that you're actually putting out on a daily basis. So are there certain issues that keep coming up? Are there certain patterns? Are there certain activities? Are there certain tasks that keep coming up repetitively that keeps landing on your desk or in your inbox? And the question that you really want to ask yourself is, am I solving this problem at the moment? Or am I preventing it from happening next time? So it's a really big question. So look at all those tasks and activities that you run out and ask that question. Number two, delegate with clarity, okay? So a really good example of this was, we was working with a law firm client, and she was a control freak. Literally, she was a control freak. And when I mentioned the word around delegation, she freaked out because she was like, oh, I'm a control freak. I want to take control of everything. And I said, this is too much on your plate. There's no way that you're going to be able to grow your business unless you start delegating those tasks. So we came to an agreement where she started delegating some of the smaller tasks and activities. And over time, she would then increase that list, and effectively she would then, all of the tasks that would land on her desk or in her inbox on a regular basis, she would be able to effectively delegate those out to her team. One of the things that I love doing with my clients actually is thinking about why a to-do list is a bad thing, and create what we call a stop doing list. So think about all of the tasks and activities right now that are holding you back, that are taking up a lot of time, that are continuous, that are mundane, that do not feel you happy and inspired. Think of a way in which you can stop doing those tasks, whether it be to delegate out to somebody else, whether it be to bring somebody in that can do it better than you, that has a better ability. Think about that. The stop doing list is such a powerful way. Number three, build systems. Think about all of the repetitive tasks. Start documenting your repetitive tasks. We call these SOPs or standard operating procedures, and create processes to ensure consistency. Okay. So what I tend to do is when I've got a regular task, whether it be create content or whatever it might be, is to then think about how can I reverse engineer the process. Okay. And what things can I do that's going to help me save time? What's it going to do to help me onboard clients more easily? What am I going to do to save the hours each day and each week? And what can I do to maybe, what can I do with the extra time that can maybe develop into a new service or whatever it might be? But build systems and processes. Very, very important. Step number 4, create space for strategy. Now, one of the things that I say with my clients is you've got to allow time to work on the business, not just in it. And there needs to be this fine balance. So if it's 2 hours a week, whether it be half an hour a day, whatever it is, but put time in your calendar to plan, to innovate, to focus on the big picture. Because if you don't allocate a specific time like you would to a client or a customer, then it's just not going to get done. So the question that I want to ask you is, what does your business need from you as a leader and not an operator? We need to shift from operator to leader. Okay? And there are 2 major differences here. Step number 5 is empower your team. What do you need to do to give your team the autonomy to make decisions? It's about trust more than anything else. So a really important part of this was, again, I'll go back to my law firm client, where effectively it's not that she didn't trust or she didn't like her team, is that she just felt like she needed to be in control of everything. Start small. Build your team's confidence so that you can create this culture of empowerment more than anything else. It's a great building block for scalable businesses. Now, the payoff to proactive leadership more than anything else is, number 1, you've got more time for strategic planning. That's definitely got to be a pro, right? Number 2, freedom. If you've got a business that depends too much on you, you don't have the freedom. The purpose of having a business is having a business that runs without you. That is the purpose of a business. Number 3, scalability. Is your business scalable enough? Do you have systems? Do you have a team that's empowered that can help drive growth? And number 4, is it exit ready? Investors, buyers that value a business that aren't founder dependent. That's what they're looking for, okay? By implementing some of the tips and the advice and the strategies that I'm advising you guys on in terms of a proactive leadership role, that's going to help you to shift to less founder dependent business. And it's going to make it much more attractive to investors and buyers when you go to sell. So there's a lot of information there, guys. Let's just talk about in terms of conclusion. And again, I want to share a task and activity that I'd love for you to do. But reactive leadership is holding you back. And I can say that because I know that from experience. But the key is to identify the patterns, delegate the tasks, build systems and processes, and empower your team that can transform your role from operator to visionary leader. So this week, I would like you to take one action and one action only. What's the one thing that you're going to do? Are you going to delegate a task? Are you going to automate a process? Or are you going to set time for strategy every week and you're going to put that into your diary? I can guarantee you that if you do one of those things or a number of those things, it will get easier. Your business will depend less on you. I can guarantee you. So I hope this has been a bit of an eye-opener, and I hope that you have enjoyed today's episode. Lots of things to think about, and very much moved much more into kind of mindset and shifting what's really holding you back. I can give you as much strategies as you want for building, growing, scaling, and exiting your business. But ultimately, the core foundation of your business is mindset. So if you're not willing to change the way that you do things, it's not going to work. However, if you are open-minded and you're willing to try new things and you're sick and tired of being just sick and tired and you are willing to make a change, trust me, implement the things and the actions and the strategies that I've given you today, and you will go far. Anyway, guys, listen, hope this has been a great episode. I've certainly enjoyed it the most. I'd love to hear from you. If you are stuck, feel free to reach out to me, hello@adamstrong.net. Also, what I was going to remind you of as well, we are going to be hosting a webinar about how to effectively grow, scale, and exit your business within the next 12 to 24 months. If you'd like to learn how to do that, please click on the link below for our next webinar if you'd like to join us. Otherwise, please feel free to leave a 1 or a 5-star review over on Apple. Take care, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon. Cheers now. Bye-bye.
Rinse knows that greatness takes time, but so does laundry. So Rinse will take your laundry and hand deliver it to your door expertly cleaned. And you can take the time pursuing your passions. Time once spent sorting and waiting, folding and queuing, now spent challenging and innovating and pushing your way to greatness. So pick up the Irish flute or those calligraphy pens or that daunting beef Wellington recipe card and leave the laundry to us. Rinse. It's time to be great.